Hi, this video is being released on the 11-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. For the past year, the 10th year, I've not really been around. I'd like to explain why in this video here. This isn't very scripted at all. I vaguely thought of that intro and haven't thought about what I'm going to say after that. And usually I heavily edit everything I release. This isn't going to have a lot of editing. I want this to be very personal and from the heart. I want to be open about this. I started this channel in the August of 2015, around the time that Super Smash Bros. For Wii U was announced to have YouTube support to upload replays. I'd always wanted to make some silly videos. Many people may know that I used to have a channel when I was 10 called Mario Gamer 56 and 566 and 556, where I uploaded just a lot of silly videos from the mind of a dumb juvenile, but I really liked the idea of making a genre video called Super Mario 64 bloopers, which I did in a very primitive way back on that channel. It's also where the origin of the name Bloops comes from. The channel used to be called Blooper Bro because Mario 64 bloopers. Then I didn't really want to use that name because it's stupid, so I shortened it to just Bloops, which is a nickname that I use online. A lot of my real life friends also call me that as a nickname, and just in general. I like the name. It's very much my identity as much as it is a brand that I use, but yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. That's the origin of the channel. When this update did eventually release for Super Smash Bros, I uploaded just a lot of raw clips. There wasn't much else I could do. I then created some incredibly basic montages using the YouTube video editor, which is now defunct, and didn't really work on a Wii U gamepad, but that's a whole other story. In 2016, I finally got my first personal computer, and I struggled to find free video editing software for a long time, but eventually my friend Q, Sir Bookwriter, pointed me at HitFilm, which I've been using ever since and still use to this day. At this point, I wasn't incredibly interested in making Mario 64 bloopers. I hadn't watched them for years, but I was really interested in review kind of videos. People like Cat Icarus, Peanut Butter Gamer, eventually Scott the Woz is sort of the mainstream sample of that now. Videos like that. I didn't have a microphone, and also it's kind of awkward for me to record in my family home, so I used text-to-speech to start off with. I created a character called Blooper Bro who saw that coming, based on the Mario recolor I would have used, and technically did use in Mario 64 bloopers on the Mario Gamer channel. But yes, this became a stand-in, a text-to-speech character where I would write scripts and write reviews and go from there. Eventually, I did get a microphone. I still find it awkward to record in my family home. To be honest, when I'm recording this, I'm the only person in. But yes, I eventually put my voice in videos and just kept making reviews. When I lived in university accommodation, I would also start appearing on camera. I was a bit awkward at first, obviously, but I really liked being on camera. And that's essentially the format I've been using since then. I started in the halls in my university accommodation at the university. I then moved into a house with a few people where I filmed a couple videos in a very drab room. I did a lot more in my third year when I had my own private flat, and I just had the freedom to do what I like, and a lot more time than I expected, despite being in my final year of university. Then after that, I moved back home. This is the room I've had since my childhood. Although I can't really film in here, the angle is incredibly limited. This is literally all the space I have to be, because there's a bed there, wardrobe behind the camera. I don't have space, basically, and like I've said, I kind of find it awkward to record stuff while my family are around, so I started filming videos outside. The lore reason for this is because Gillingham Towers, which is the place my character lived at, exploded when Gilly Thatcher put metal into a microwave. But yes, for the last few years I've been going outside, talking into a camera, rambling about things like bad video game tutorials, Tetris, a lovely little game called Omo Chapon, a few other things. I wasn't the most consistent, partly because the editing load was so immense on all these videos. It burns me out, quite frankly. I'm sure you can assume that by just watching the videos. It took so much work. And I've had people come up to me in the past saying, hey, for a small channel, you shouldn't look like you have a big production studio. I never really thought it looked like I had a big production studio. For the most part, it's always just been me talking into either a microphone or a camera, and then I do all the editing. Very occasionally, I'd ask people for favors like, hey, Yerkdiv, could you draw my foot for an intro sequence in Donkey Kong? And I would get a PNG and then animate that myself. For the most part, these have all been independent productions. A few times I've had people contribute art assets or voiceover assets, and sometimes I've had people act on camera, such as my friend Jack, who plays Gilly Thatcher, or Flurry, who plays Limescale. But back to the main point, these are essentially independent projects, and it takes a long time to do. I write everything, edit everything, direct everything. Everything has been completely on me, and it's exhausting and time-consuming. I know I've never been the most consistent when it comes to uploading on a regular schedule, but I would have liked to imagine by now I could have had a bit more success than where I'm at. Most of my subscribers come from collaboration videos or cameos. They're all opportunities I'm incredibly grateful for, but I never really capitalized on that. The first notable subscriber boost I had was from a Relax-a-Lax video where I submit a clip that just got put into the video. It wasn't really a collaboration, it was just an open offer for people to submit their own videos that would appear in a montage. I got in, I'm very thankful for that. But my upload schedule was piss poor at the time, so I just never actually capitalized on that. By the time I came back, no one really knew who I was or tuned in. And honestly, quite annoyingly, people didn't unsubscribe after that. The first major collaboration I can think of was with my friend Oko. We did a video together discussing Super Smash Bros. And giving existing characters new movesets. At the time, my friend Oko was pulling in huge numbers. This was a huge boost of several thousand, which is where I believe most of my subscribers come from. But then I just went dormant for basically a whole year, aside from one 3-minute video in the summer after that video, like 4 months after the collaboration released. And around the time of the collab, I was mostly exclusively making Super Smash Bros. Videos, which I didn't really have an interest in by the time I got back into making videos. I still loved the game. In fact, recently, as of recording this, I've been playing it quite a lot just in my off time anyway. But it's not something I have much interest in making videos in, so I pivoted to making reviews again. I struggled for like a year to think of something that would justify like this long absence. I wanted a big comeback, and I was very happy when I landed on Link the Faces of Evil. And from there, I made a video on Samari, Donkey Kong 3, which started a bit of an April Fool's tradition for a couple of years. I made a video on E.T. I made a lot of videos I'm very proud of, but none of them ever really seemed to bring in views, which is fine. I genuinely love doing this because I love talking about things, but it did create an issue down the line. By the time I left uni, I didn't have the time to justify just making videos. I needed to make money so I could survive, even though I'm still in my parents' house. I really would like to move out. I am 24 years old. Much later down the line, I appeared in a Jack's Films video. Bloops! Because I pissed off a content thief, which also got me a nice little boost in views. But my channel was completely dormant at this point, and essentially every time I had a big boost, the keyword is dormant, I've said dormant a few times, I was just never around to capitalize on it, and I think by the time I returned, people were either like, who are you? Or, I didn't subscribe for this, I wanted Smash Bros videos, and just a bunch of reasons basically made the views never really get past 1,000 on a channel with 5k. And 1,000 views in general is kind of pathetic numbers, and I felt really bad that I had a channel with a, not massive, but a decent following count, but it wasn't translating into views. It was honestly very demotivating, and I'm a very paranoid person. I think some of my mindset was like, oh god, algorithm will see that and it won't ever push me. So, I didn't know what to do basically. I just kind of tried to ignore it and kept making stuff as much as I could, and then the 10-year anniversary came around. Completely unrelated to videos, I had the opportunity to visit Japan, and I had an incredible idea to go to Japan, make a video there. My plan was to review Hotel Mario. I was going to make vlog sort of videos that would go between review segments, but it would all be a part of one big video. It would kind of have been a movie of sorts. I recorded a whole intro video at my usual filming location. I filmed a bit of the stuff in Japan, but things didn't really go to plan when it came to filming in Japan. The trip itself wasn't ruined. I did have a really nice holiday, and I want to make a video talking about the stuff I did in Japan at some point. But mainly because a certain individual who was just kind of an asshole. He didn't ruin the trip, but he ruined all of the opportunities to film. Long story short, things didn't entirely work out when I got to Japan. I had a great holiday. But in terms of filming a video, I think I was honestly kind of just underprepared. I got back and felt incredibly defeated for a very long time. I was like, oh god, this huge 10-year project failed. Which, by the way, I teased previously that I had a celebrity voice actor for it. It was Mark Grau.
Hello, Bloops. I said, hello, Bloops. A dream come true for you, eh, Bloops?
The actual voice of Mario and Luigi in Hotel Mario. I'm very thankful that he decided to take part in this. I really want to use it at some point. I will use it at some point. At some point I will make this original vision, but I wanted to keep it secret, but like, it's not gonna happen for a while at this rate, so I might as well tell you. At some point, Mark Grau will be in a video I've made. Anyway, yeah, I've been rambling a little bit. I got home, I started working on a new video about out-of-bounds areas in video games that you can access in-game and play in. Like, not just use no-clip or see something out of bounds, a place you could actually walk around and interact with. I got about halfway on this project and just felt defeated, honestly. I put it on hiatus for a while, I didn't know what to do, and I just sort of went silent. Between the greatly exaggerated subscriber count not translating into views, the burnout of how long I spent on these videos, and also just being tired from life in general, not to mention the huge, frankly, failure that the 10-year anniversary video with Hotel Mario was. I was so defeated. I really wanted to just take a break, and I did. For a couple months, I was just a bit of a recluse, really, until I met with my friend Reese and we took a weekend, just me and him, in Wales. We stayed a couple of days in Aberystwyth, saw beaches, coastlines, went on a few hikes, did a couple of not really touristy things. There's not a lot to do there other than be on the beach, but it was nice. I'm rambling, but yes, I finished the video, but thought I'm kind of tired with the channel where it is. It's not getting good views. I feel like the 10 years of bad consistency and exaggerated subscriber counts and just many other features made the channel honestly feel cursed and doomed to never grow. So after a lot of considering and debating, I decided to start fresh. I made a new channel. It's called Bloops. The tag is @Bloops. I just swapped the branding for this channel to that channel, and this one is now The Vault. Hi. And I was initially going to start by uploading compilations of all the episodes of Bloops Gems and then getting to the new stuff. But I also thought I want to touch up a few videos. There's quite a few mistakes or things I've missed that I would just like to freshen up and get into a better state. Basically make the perfect definitive editions of these videos that had flaws in them. And I thought, considering how much effort that is, I may as well just remaster them and upload them as individual videos one by one each week. And I did that. A few of the remasters were simply editing, touch-ups and fixes, but also quite a few of them had a new intro where I explained stuff that has happened since that video came out or gave a bit of additional context behind the video. Some videos had cut content restored, which I don't know why I cut them out originally, but I brought them back. Some videos were basically entirely new videos. The Mario Bros. Stage Select video, I recorded a lot of new content for it with the context of Smash Ultimate now being out. I'm very proud of that one, although a good half of it, maybe, is still just a touch-up of the original video. I think it's basically a brand new video in its own right, and I'm very, very proud of how it came out. And then when we got to the new stuff, when I started appearing on camera, most of the remaster job was just fixing up little editing mistakes or exporting issues. There's not really too much new there, but I'm still happy I got to remaster them and fix what I didn't like about them. And eventually, this backlog dried up, and I started posting the new stuff. That Out of Bounds video came out, I made a video about Kart Fighter, and then I was kind of stumped and back in a bit of a rut. I wanted to use the weekly remasters to create a bit of a buffer period where I could make brand new videos to then also release maybe weekly when the backlog dried up, but I just didn't really get as productive as I wanted to be. Part of that was just because of life. Life happens, I have a life outside of this. It sucks, but I can't make videos constantly because I have other things I need to do. But also the first month of remasters performed really well, and then it kind of tapered off, and that was a little bit demotivating, so kind of just had to deal with that, but I did as much as I could. And then I got to April, when the backlog was dried up, I had ran out of complete new finished videos to do, and I thought, oh god, what do I do from here? Because the channel wasn't working out as well as I was hoping it would at this point. I really do love making videos, but I can't keep this up if I'm not being paid for it. That's not me trying to be shallow. Sorry, the loop restarted. That's not me trying to be shallow and saying, I want to do this for the money. I need money to live. I can't live making free videos. I will be doing this as long as I can, but that's probably going to result in like 5-minute videos once a year at some point, because I can't really sustain this. So out of that, I created a series called The Back of the Log, a bit of a pun on backlogs, you know, you have loads of games you need to get to playing. Also, I'm filming in a forest, I am behind a literal log. It's also a backlog of so many topics I really want to talk about. Now, as of filming this, I've not actually released any of those videos, so I can't really tell you how they've performed. But I will say, leading up to June 5th, I'm recording this, I'm still very happy with the new channel and how it's performing compared to working on this channel that has been stagnant for the last 10 years. Yes, it isn't performing successfully per se, but I feel a lot happier and more fresh about it. Plus, I'm trying to take the channel in a new direction that I am happy to make happen on a new channel, because this last 10 years of what is now Bloops Vault, those are very special to me for a reason I can't quite comprehend, but it's a very distinctive decade of my life that by all means I've kind of moved on for, even though I kind of moved on from, even though I don't really want to. And I'm happy to keep that decade as just this channel in its own state of an archive, as an archive of what I once was. So that's been a lot of rambling about where I've been, what I've been doing, etc. But long story short, this channel felt cursed, so I jumped ship and wanted a fresh start. If you want to see new Bloops Gems videos, go onto that other channel. The Out of Bounds video is there, there's a Kart Fighter video there, and there's the Back of the Log now, which is not quite the same, but it's still just me talking, having fun, chatting about video game things I like. It's still me at its purest essence. I want to thank you very sincerely for supporting this channel for however long you did. I know, like I've said, a lot of the subscribers aren't actually watching this, but you're here at this moment. You personally care, and I can't thank you enough for it. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you that I moved sooner. I just wanted to actually make sure it was going to work this time and I would be consistent before I told everyone to go over there. So please go over there and see what I've been up to if you've missed me. Making these videos genuinely means so much to me, and I can't imagine ever not doing it. It sucks that it never really became something I could monetize in the 10 years I have been doing it, but hopefully I'm still optimistic that day's going to come. I don't expect to be making thousands or millions or necessarily even hundreds, but as long as it's monetized, that's genuinely enough justification that, hey, I can throw a video out there and there's a chance it will be successful and actually be justifiable to make, and not just, I'm going to throw a video out there and it won't be monetized. If it does well, that's great, but it didn't justify the time, so I can't really get back to this sooner than later. I'm not going to pretend that I don't want these videos to be monetized. They mean a lot to me, and I need the justification that I can still make them, no matter what's going on in my life. Thank you sincerely. This is going to be a pain to edit because I've rambled a lot. I don't know how coherent I was, and I've said a lot of things for this sort of outro bit that I just think are me rambling in a way that is so incoherent, only I can understand it, and I barely understand it, to be honest. It's been a wonderful 10 years. I'm genuinely really upset to have to see it end, but I can be passionate and optimistic for the future. It's a bit of a different direction that I dreamed of taking, but I really want this stream to work out. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my damn hardest. It's gonna be tough. It's probably gonna remain unsuccessful for a long time, but I'm gonna try my hardest. I really am. So this channel, Bloops Vault, this is essentially the end of it. It's still the channel I personally use day to day to watch videos, subscribe to people I like, literally give their videos likes, occasionally comment, but it's basically the end for this channel. It's a time capsule, and I'm happy. I'm happy with what it was. I wish it could have been more, don't get me wrong, but I'm content. I'm happy. I loved it. I also don't want to take down any videos. I've had a few people question, if you're remastering these videos, why are you keeping the old ones up? They're a time capsule. I still want them to be viewed as they're released, even with all their imperfections. Plus, it's just fun to compare what I actually did, if you want to do that. But yes, this is the end of Bloops Vault. Go watch Bloops if you want to see me still make stuff, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And see ya. It was lovely to be with you.